7:32 now, everybody, and so many of us across the tri-state continuing to deal with the aftermath of Monday night's torrential downpours.
From flooded out homes and cars to basements and businesses, the cleanup is massive, and it comes with a hefty price tag. Joining us this morning is AAA Northeast spokesperson Robert Sinclair with a checklist of the things you need to know before you file your insurance claim. Good morning, Robert. We appreciate you being here for us and everybody who's dealing with us. You know, one of the biggest casualties, cars. We see this every time when flash flooding hits across the tri-state area, especially Westchester, parts of the Bronx River Parkway, wide swaths of New Jersey. Do most insurance policies cover flood damage to cars?
No, you have to have a comprehensive policy to take care of flood damage. If you have collision or liability, and a lot of people only have liability these days because it's expensive to be a motorist, so we're trying to save everywhere we can. Those policies will not pay for the damage. You're going to have to go out of pocket. I know it's very, very tough. It's a tough economy. Our members are telling us that even though gasoline is a lot cheaper, that it's still expensive, and for about 40% of the economy. So for a lot of those, we don't have proper insurance policies, necessary coverage. You're going to have to go in your pocket. And if you live in a flood-prone area, which is the tri-state region, you really need to have that extra protection so that when these things happen, not if, you can recoup some of the damage.
I mean, it's one of those things. You don't buy that kind of insurance because you don't think your car's ever going to be caught in a flash flood, but with the weather patterns the way they are. Here's the thing, Robert. You know, I see so many people who have that car in that water where they're not quite sure if it reached the danger zone, right? So then they turn their car on to see if it'll start. But you say that can actually cause more damage.
That can cause a lot of damage. If the water reached the bottom of your vehicle, don't start it. Water can get into a lot of different regions. You might have to change your fluids, your oil, your coolant, transmission fluid, those sort of things. But water could get into the engine and create something called hydrolock. We know that air and gases are compressible, but fluids are not. That's the principle of hydraulics. And drag racing fans will be aware of the phenomenon known as hydrolock. In drag racing, an abundant amount of fuel can go into the cylinder, and it can't be burned, it can't be expelled, and it can't be compressed, so the engine breaks. You break pistons, connecting rods, all those sort of things. That's major, major damage. You don't want to have that happen to your vehicle. So if water got even just to the bottom of the vehicle, don't start it. Yeah, have it towed.
Roger that. So let's talk about the damage. If you're going to file a claim, a lot of times you think like an adjuster should come out, or you need to take your car someplace for an adjuster to get a look at it. There may be pictures involved as well. If we're taking those photographs ourselves, what should we be documenting?
Yeah, you should contact your insurance company and have lots of pictures. The old film school rules, wide shot, medium shot, close up, get all the damage. Water could have seeped into the vehicle, also into the trunk and behind the seat and those sort of places, and it could sit there and fester and create mold and create health problems. So you want to document as much as possible whatever damage happened to your vehicle and share that with your adjuster so that you can be properly compensated as long as you have the necessary coverage.
Yeah, that's on the car front, right? But a lot of homes and those who lived in basement apartments, they're trying to figure out what their next steps are, Robert. So where do they begin in terms of looking at their homeowner's insurance policy and seeing what's covered, right?
Or renter's policy, too.
Yeah, the water could have gotten into walls and it could be seeping out afterwards. You want to check attics and basements and crawl spaces, and again, document as much as possible, check that damage because the water could still be in there, even though the main part of the house might be dry. Water could still be seeping out, and need to check into those hidden areas, those maybe non-inhabitable areas, to make sure that there's no water in there.
Yeah, because you may not figure it out until things, start to go awry. You start to have health effects, or you start to notice that smell in your house. Yeah. Do renters' policies cover flood damage?
It all depends. It's all in the details. It's very important to consult with your insurance advisor. We have them at AAA Northeast. Talk to them and talk about your circumstances, where you live, what assets you have, what have you. Insurance coverage is very important. It's a protection. People think that if they don't make a claim that it's a waste of money. No, it's there to help you in case you do need it. And having as much insurance as possible is always recommended. You can never have too much insurance coverage.
Yeah, and then there's the idea of the signs to look out for long-term flood damage to homes, apartments, or businesses, right? You're talking about how it could seep into the walls, and that becomes the dreaded word of mold.
Right.
Yeah, foundations, walls, support structures need to have them checked, perhaps by an engineer or contractor to let you know that all those things are in good shape. Water is very insidious. It can get in there and start to rot and create problems, and you're not even aware of it. It's very important if you suffered any kind of major flooding to have all these things checked out, check and clean the area thoroughly. It might have been fresh water that flooded us, but it's fresh water with toxins, with all sorts of different chemicals and what have you that can leave dangerous things behind, and you don't want to expose you and your family to those kind of toxins. It can be very, very dangerous afterwards.
And make sure you use somebody credible to do the remediation work. And to those people that are out there, please don't gouge the customers at this time, right?
Yeah. Insurance companies can help with making recommendations on those.
Okay, Robert Sinclair, we love when you come on. Thanks for making time for us this morning, okay?